welcome back, friends. We are back in session. Class is back in session. School is back in session. So, welcome back. I wanted to welcome you to my classroom here at Expressions in Chalk, which is really a craft room, but we can just pretend it's an art studio or art classroom for this week anyway. I wanted to share a cool project with you today, but before we do that, I wanted to share a couple other things with you. So I mentioned yesterday that I needed to go to Michael's and get an item for a project today. And sadly, I wasn't able to get the item I really and truly wanted, but I did find a good substitute that I think we can still work with, and it's still going to turn out really cute. And I wanted to show you a couple other things that I picked up. I went there searching for, school-related type, anything I could find that looked like back to school, especially some ribbon. I'm still looking for that ribbon. I guess I'm gonna have to go to Amazon. Just thought maybe I could support my local businesses, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I just wanted to show you a few things I did find yesterday. Okay, so no ribbon whatsoever. Really hardly any back to school stuff left. Now, in your area it may be different because of when you go back to school. It all depends. But I found this cute fabric piece, let's see how much it is. Fabric, I don't know. It's like a cutout, like what you would use maybe if you were a quilter or just if you just needed a small square of fabric. It's like $1.50, I think. So I got this, just ABC. I thought, well, that's very colorful and it's cute. It makes me think of school. So worst case scenario, I can open this up, cut it, and just tear off strips and use that, which I may. I haven't figured out exactly yet, but I'll probably use that. So in some of the pictures you may end up seeing that I'll post at the end of the week, you'll probably see that. Now, you remember how I told you I was having a hard time finding the mini erasers? They're pretty much useless as far as for actual functional use, although the kids seem to love them. But they're adorable, right? I did not go to Staples. They may have had them, but I thought there's got to be something in here. Went all through. Finally, when I was almost finished, I got to one section in Michael's, and I found this. Look, I ought to be set, don't you think? I ought to be set for quite a while now. I don't even know, 250 pieces. But look how cute, little mini erasers. And it was on sale, so I got it, this whole container, I think, for $2 and something. Not bad. So if you're a teacher and you're looking, maybe go check that out. These are fun little rewards as well, right? If the kids do a good job on something. Or to go in that cute little canister that I was talking about. If you don't want to put candy in there, you can put those kind of things in there. I've displayed some of our items that we've worked on so far this week, I hope. I'm going to be sharing pictures of them, the finished items, like how you would actually use them later this week after we finished all the projects. I'll kind of do a recap. But I've got everything kind of behind me right now, so you can probably see the things that we've worked on. And I will let you know, I did capture the elusive 17-year-old male and capture him on camera. So he wasn't real pleased about it, but he cooperated with me. He doesn't know what I'm using it for. But anyway, so I was able to use my little photo prop, and I wrote on there in a dry erase marker. I did try to see if it would come off. It's not going to come off. It would ruin it if it come off. So keep that in mind if you're choosing a surface or if you're doing something like that, just so you know, for your own reference. Let's see, what else did I want to share? Oh, I was going to share what else I got at Michael's. So I'll show you what we're using for our project last. I did also pick up this. They had some 4th of July stuff still left, 70% off, I think. So I got this cute little wood cutout. I'm sure that I will find something amazing to use it with. And even though it's just very small, so I don't think it would have any problem with transfers. But isn't that cute? So it was originally $6.99. I should have brought the receipt and stuck it here. But I think I got it 70% off. So very, very cheap. Was not much to it. Always grab that kind of stuff. And then I did show that they have quite a bit of fallout. Not as much as normal. Like it wasn't like aisles and aisles of it. But They did have quite a bit of fall out, and I couldn't resist when I saw this ribbon. Like I said, I was looking at their ribbon, but isn't that gorgeous? I think it has every fall color you can imagine. And since we're going to be starting on fall projects soon, I wanted to have something on hand. So, yeah, check out the ribbon. And I did, it's marked $9.99, but I know I did not pay that. I think it was on sale around $6 or less. I'm not sure. It's a pretty big thing of ribbon, and it's wired, so I think that's going to come in handy. I did get another round. What I wanted, I'll tell you what I went there looking for. I have a white round that I did my America sign with, and I thought I could use the back side of it, but it already had, and I had gotten that originally from Michael's, but this is what the back side of theirs looks like. They do this, and I just didn't want to go to the trouble of trying to take these heavy-duty staples out and the twine off to use the back of it. I may still do that at some point, but they're cheap enough. I think this was $12.99. It might have been less than that. I can't remember. I had a coupon, of course. If there's a coupon, I'm going to try to use it. And they weren't on sale. Their wood pieces were not on sale. This is an 18-inch round. I guess I could put my glasses on so I could read instead of squinting. Yeah, this is an 18-inch round. So, and this color, I think it's just considered a wood color. Online, they show that they have the whitewash and they have a gray wash. This was the absolute only one in the store, period. I got the whitewash in July, and I didn't see the gray. So I'm sure you can still get it, but you probably have to order it online. But that's what I was thinking I was going to use, the back side of the one I did in July. And I just didn't want to mess with it. So our online store also has rounds, but they are more of they're probably close to that color, but not exactly. Like they run out of stock quite a bit. You have to keep your eyes open for it, but this is one of ours. And I could have used this, but I already have it for a project that I will share later. So, and I actually was considering using you can't see it, but we have a transfer that comes in this kit. This is our Farmhouse Hello Chalkmate kit. I'm not even sure. I'd have to check. I'm not sure if it's still available, but very popular. As you can imagine, these signs like this are very popular. But it has a hello, but I just feel like it might be too big. Let's see if you can see. See that hello transfer is in there? And I love that font, and I love everything about it, but, oh, and a little paintbrush, because you can paint lines, which is what we're going to do. But I just felt like it was a little too big for this project. But those are the rounds that we have also, and that is a 16-inch round, which would also work for the project that I was doing today. But they don't have that at Michael's, so, and I didn't take the time to look online. And I don't know if Amazon does. A lot of people make them themselves. And like I said, I didn't get to my other favorite hobby store. So, excuse me. So, anyway, let's see. That's all that I got yesterday. And I've told you about that. Oh, and I was able to also capture a picture of my littlest helper trying out our art smock. And it seems to be, the ink seems to have adhered to it really well. I haven't tried to heat set it, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna run or anything. So I'm not sure what I'll do to it, but he actually had it on this morning when he was doing a little project before he went to school. So I took him to preschool, and I'm gonna have to pick him up. I have him on my own for the next like 4 days. 4 days? I don't know, till Monday. And then he's off 2 weeks for school. So I won't even get to have a break. So we'll see. I have some things prepared that I can share with you in case I can't actually get on. But hopefully I'll be able to come live with you. I prefer doing the live if I can, but that doesn't always happen. Okay, so I was working on this. This project's going to take us the whole time. So it's just this one project that we're going to do. And I was working on preparing some of it. I didn't get a lot done ahead of time, but preparing some of it. But I want to walk you through the steps because it does take a little bit of preparation. So this is what I settled on. This is a 10 by 10 piece of wood, and I just happened to come across it. I wanted it to be white, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. But it happened to be the only one there. Didn't even have a tag on it, but it was very inexpensive. That might have been like around $7 or something. But it's 10 by 10. I really like it. I've never seen it before, but I like it. It's smooth. They had some with like lines, so it would be more kind of like a palette board I've shown before. but this one's going to work much better, I think, for what our purpose is. So what we are going to do, when I realized I couldn't get the white round, I thought, okay, I'm trying to make a sign that looks like a sheet of paper. I'm stealing this idea from someone else. I was not original with this, but I loved it. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, I have to do that. I have to do that. It's so cute. So it's going to look like a piece of notebook paper. So when I was looking at what they had for options, and I was like, well, what could I do? A canvas? What could I do it? And I want it so that I can put it outside and hang it on my front door for the little period of time where we put out. Doesn't have to be summer, but it's not fall yet. So for back to school. So that's why I wanted the wood. I thought about canvas, but I didn't want to deal with that. You know, I'm thinking I wanted something that's going to be hard here. So yeah, so I think this is going to work perfect. So that's why I needed it to be white. And I was like, well, paper square, you know, yeah, the round would have been super cute, but let's do this. So that is what we're going to make out of this today. So you might say, well, how are you going to do that? That's what I want to teach you, class. So before I came on, the one thing I did do was I went ahead and waxed this. As I've mentioned in the past, when it's wood, we do want to wax those surfaces because of a couple reasons. Obviously, wood is a natural fiber kind of thing, but so it's not going to be completely even and straight. It's going to have little ridges, ups and downs, whatever. It's going to be different, and it's going to be porous. So we want to wax it for that reason, to try to help our transfer lay flatter so that it doesn't seep under. And then also we do it so that, I had a blank for a second, so that our transfer comes easily off of the wood. It doesn't stick to it. So that is another reason why we wax it. And we do sell this surface wax in my shop, online shop. It lasts a long time, and it does have instructions on the back for you in case you have not seen one or heard me tell about it before. It will tell you, it's a little sticker, and it's in English and French because we do sell our product in Canada as well. It's for porous or unfinished surfaces to protect our adhesive on the back of our transfers, and it just tells you what to do. Apply the paste, or apply it, allow it to dry about 15 to 30 minutes. That's why I did it beforehand. Was I wanted it to be on there at least 15 minutes prior to us starting our project. And then buff off the excess. And then it cures in 12 to 24 hours is what it says. So if you decide you wanted one of those, it's in my online shop, and they do last quite a while. So I just take this old cloth that I have. It's a microfiber that I think I got from the dollar store. And I apply it with, use one side to apply it with, I don't think it really matters. People use paper towels. You can use whatever you want. And then I use the other side to just kind of buff it. So I've already applied it. So now I'm just going to kind of just make sure I don't have any chunks. Usually if it's, the paste is warm enough, it slides on really, really easily. If you try to use it and you feel like, oh, it's not going on very well, just warm it up a little bit. Like use your heat tool or blow dryer or something, or just warm it up a little bit. Do not stick it in the microwave because it's in a metal container. So, but you could just warm it up a little bit. But I'm just kind of buffing it, that's all. And if you don't want to use that surface wax that we sell, I'm sure you could get any kind of wax that they sell at any of your craft stores or discount, you know, Wally World or any of those places that sell craft supplies. They do sell, if you look in the paint area, usually there's some type of wax in there as well that you can use, antique wax. I think I even have something back here. I can't think of which bin I have it in right now, but I know I have some back here as well that we used prior to ever using my surface wax. So that's what I've done. I've just prepared my surface, so it should be fine. Now, the other thing that I did to prepare for our project is I pulled out my handy dandy ruler and I measured it. Of course, like I said, it's 10 inches, 10 by 10. And I'm going to, you know, I want to make my notebook lines. I've got to make my notebook lines on here. So I measured, basically it's about every 1 inch we're going to do our lines. So think about a piece of notebook paper, that blue line, right? So, and I pulled out my blue. We're going to use Colonial blue. And I marked it. And what I did was on my, you know, obviously you have your measurements on your ruler. I want to make sure you can see it. What I did was I marked it just a little bit before and a little bit after the inch mark. So like the two hashes before the inch and two after. I marked on my board, just a little small area. And the reason I did that is because now I need to tape those areas off. So if you think about, you know, we're just taping to protect the area we're not painting, and we're gonna paint with our chalk paste. We're gonna use that. So, speaking of which, I need to get a little tray out. I mean, you don't have to, you could just use the chalk, but I'm probably gonna thin it out a little bit just for those purposes. So I'm gonna use some washi tape to protect it. I could use, this is our placement tape that we sell in my shop. And it does have measurement on there too, if you can see that. It kind of has measurement lines to help you. I'm not going to use that one. I just happened to pick up a whole little container in the clearance section at Walmart, Wally World, the other day when I went. So many of them, and I thought, well, for this purpose. So I'm just going to try to block off. I could just use my regular painter's tape as well. You know what? Let's just do that, because if I'm going to thin it out, let's use the painter's tape. You can use washi tape for placement. I see it all the time. People do it all the time, but I don't know. Let's see. I have painter's tape too. I just don't want to have it messed up. Let's see if this feels like it's thick enough. And so these markings, what I'm going to do, if I can find the first one, there it is. I am going to put my washi tape at the bottom of those markings, or right on those markings. I did it on both sides, so I wouldn't have to try to figure out if I was straight or not. I don't know. I think it might work. Maybe we'll just stick with this. I have all my colors pulled out. We're going to stay with primary colors today. And as much as I don't know, maybe it's not going to stick. You know what, guys? Let's not have any problems. Give me just a second. I am going to grab my painter's tape that I just happen to have. I have a whole drawer of lots of different types of tape handy. Let's just do our painter's tape. We'll save that for another time. It's pretty though. That helps with placement and stuff. And I know that our particular placement tape would be fine, but I want to just be sure. I got plenty of this, so let's just do it. Don't want any seepage. So this is going to be a little time consuming, but I was going to try to get some of this done before I came on, but I just didn't. I ran out of time with having the little one to take care of and get him to school. I did get all my chores done this morning though. Sorry, I'm just thinking for a second if this tape is going to be too, well, it might work out pretty good actually, because then I only have to, yeah, I wanted to find my next one for my next line. Obviously, I want these wide enough that I can see it. See the line, but not so wide that it overpowers it, right? So you may want to do it less measurement than what I did. Might do one hashtag in between it. Okay, that piece is not long enough to cover. I apologize for looking down so much. It's one of those things you have to concentrate. But it's going to be super cute and worth the effort, I promise you. And it might have been harder for you to visualize what we were going to do if I had the whole thing taped before I even showed you. I could have done some of it. There just doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to do everything that I want to get done. Anybody else feel that way? Anybody else have that issue? that is life. And I'm not an empty nester yet, so I don't have complete freedom. I'm wondering how that's gonna be, how I'm gonna manage that. You know, there's days when you yearn for it, especially when you have little ones. I remember, felt like it was you were never gonna have time to yourself again. But now that it's fast approaching, I'm wondering how I'm actually gonna do with it. That's why I'm grateful I found this, so that I have a creative outlet to share with others. You know, I'm hoping that I have this all straight. When it's a done deal. And I could have done less lines. I could have made it wide ruled. I guess I'm kind of making it college ruled, but I could have made it wide ruled and done less lines. It's completely up to you guys. Oh, see, I feel like I'm off now. That one's gonna have to move, because that's not straight. So it's someplace I got a little crooked. Let's see if it's this one. So I'm curious, if you made a sign like this, would you put it on your front door, or would you give it to a teacher, or would you use it in your classroom? I wish I had thought of this stuff when my kids were smaller and had teachers that I could have gifted them with it. I think it would have been fun. I do. I would have enjoyed it. I like giving unusual gifts that are out of the ordinary. That brings me joy. The hunt and the giving. All right, almost finished. I think we have one more. Because the top of the paper is always more. It's always bigger, right? Thanks for bearing with me. And if you're just hopping on for the first time, I would love it if you would let me know where you're watching from. And if you like what you see, if you would give me a heart, I would appreciate it. And if you really like, if you would, okay. I'm going to, that's going to be too much, I think. So we are going to do this last line, I think. If you would sprinkle this video to anyone you think would be interested in it, I would very much appreciate it. I love being able to share this stuff with you guys. Okay, so look, here we go. And I got to remember I'm doing this upside down, actually. I don't want to forget that. I almost did forget that, right? Because I was thinking that was the top. So this is the top. Make sure you pay attention to that. I did one project in the beginning. I was doing it for a contest, and I did one project in the beginning. I did not even pay attention to the back of the surface I was using. That is a hangable surface, and I completely did it wrong. And now there's no undoing it. So because I glued things, I did all kinds of stuff. I'll share that picture with you at some point too. But yeah, so make sure that you pay attention to what's the top and what's the bottom for hanging purposes. All right, guys, I see it a little bit off, but I really don't think it's that noticeable to others. So once I get this down this time, I'm letting it stay. And what I'm gonna do, I am using chalk paste, just wet chalk, basically. And I sell all that in my online shop. So here we go. That's what it looks like so far with our painter's tape on. I'm gonna make sure that I have it pressed down well so that it doesn't seep through. And then we'll get started. I'm not gonna water, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use the lid. instead of using my little, that way I don't have to make too much. I can use one. No, yeah. So I already have some in the lid, right? There's one of my COVID lids. And I'm going to use this Colonial Blue. I could use the Cadet Blue that I shared yesterday with the owl. It's darker, but I think I'm just going to go with this one. Because I don't think, I want to make sure I don't forget that I'm doing this upside down. Okay, so let me get my little artist tool paintbrush. Comes in a set with this, and this. And this is like a little, it's black, I can't pull it. It keeps sliding in on mine. So, there we go. Comes in a little set. That's available in my shop. I'm just gonna add a little bit of water. Now remember, I'm gonna use distilled water because I don't wanna get any fungus in here. And I'm just gonna add a little bit because I wanna thin it out some, but not a ton. Just to make it go on a little bit smoother. And I love chalk paint. This is just wet chalk. I'm just making it more wet. I love chalk paint because it dries so quickly. On its own, it will dry, you know, in about 5 minutes. So, I love it. So this morning, okay, so let's get started, guys. And I'm hoping, I'm wearing a yellow shirt. I'm hoping I actually probably, especially when I'm going to be working with the black, I probably should put my apron on. Let's just do that. Because this yellow shirt is just going to be a magnet for any and everything. Now it's chalk, so it will wash out, but let's just not even take any chances. Okay, there we go. That's better. Speaking of aprons, you know, I showed you that cute one for my little guy, right? But this weekend, hopefully, my husband's gonna watch the little one so that I can get up here and show a live with you. I am going to do another project with our wonderful club. Let's see, can you see it? Here it is. Our wonderful club transfer this weekend, and I'm going to do it on an apron. For me, I'm gonna do it for me. So, all right, so I'm just gonna start painting, and I'm not gonna worry about the sides, guys. And once I'm putting it on, I'm just trying to make it smooth. I'm just gonna see how, if I need to make it darker, if I need to make it thicker, because obviously I have the wax on there. I'm not gonna worry about doing it on the sides. I think I'm just gonna do, and you don't even, like I said, you don't really even have to, I might do this and then come back and do this one. You don't even really have to water it down. Look, there it is, not watered down. Because it's gonna be faint. I think I'm gonna use it thicker because this is very thin. I can see through it pretty well. So I think I do have to use it full strength. If I was using the darker blue, I might have to water it down more. Usually when you're painting with it, you want to water it down, but I may do a second coat on them. Oh, see, that one looks much bigger. I don't know what I did there. Me just adjust them, guys, as I'm going, as it's showing up to me. And that club I was mentioning, if you're interested in that, just comment club or send me a message. I'll be glad to give you the information on that. That's our monthly subscription club that has an exclusive transfer that only goes to club members. And I try to show you a bunch of different ideas with it. And once I get enough people doing it, I want to do a craft night, a monthly craft night. Like on a Zoom call with all of our friends, and get a chance to craft together without even going anywhere. I think it's this one. I see a line off again, like a, so much for doing all that prep work. I'm telling you guys, I have the hardest time. Even when when I'm hanging a picture, I will measure and measure and measure. And I miss having my dad help me with that because my dad's always really good at that. But he doesn't live close enough for me to get him to do it. Curtain rods. And pictures that need like to be really lined up, like if you're doing a gallery wall or line or one of those with the two. I did get a hack. I don't know if you've seen that hack for if you've got like the two places on the back of a picture where you use a piece of painter's tape just like this and you use that to help you find make your holes on your wall. I have tried it. It works. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But like I said, when I try measure, and I still seem like I mess up. I don't know if I'm the only one with that problem or not. Again, if you're coming on for the first time, or if you're coming on, if you'll let me know you're here by pressing the heart button, you can put in the comments where you're watching from. I'm curious if we have any teachers in the house. If we do, I'd love to know what grade you teach and tell you how much we appreciate you. I know it's kind of like motherhood and fatherhood. It can be a thankless job a lot of times. Hopefully you get a glimpse here and there of something that reminds you why you got into it to begin with. I know it's hard with all the politics and bureaucracy sometimes, and especially this past year, the way things have gone, trying to pivot and still figure out how to teach these kids without being in a classroom. All right, almost to the last line. I think I'm going to go back up to the top because that's probably about dry and do one more coat. And I'm probably using more paste than what I would normally use for a project because I'm painting it on and I'm wasting a lot on my tape. But that's okay. I mean, these jars last so long. And I know we do sell this one in a paste single as well. This color, Colonial Blue. It reminds me of what you might also think of as Williamsburg Blue. If you're old enough, you know what that is. If you're old like me. I have to tell you, sometimes this is the best part of my day. I stay busy all day, as most of us do, from the minute I get up, and I realize late in the afternoon, wonder why my back's hurting. It's because I haven't sat down. Going. And there's so much of it that requires, so many chores and work to do, but this is my favorite excuse to come, just slow down a little bit and do something creative and usable and fun, colorful. It's my favorite part of my day when I get to do this. That, my friends, is exactly why I got started with this company, or another reason why I decided to become a designer with this company was because I wanted not just to do my own home decor that would match my color schemes, but also to be able to, I hate to say justify, but give me an excuse to be able to do fun crafts more often. It's just finding it so difficult to find any time to do it. And when you do, a lot of them take so long that you might get it started, but you can't get back to it. Just like some of the projects I have going on at the house right now. They're almost done, and I just can't get time to get back to it to finish off. So I choose to do this instead because I get immediate gratification. Okay, I think that'll probably be enough. The only problem is I didn't bring the water. I always forget the cup of water. I need to start reminding myself about a cup of water to put my paintbrush in. Oh, I just pulled that completely off. I'm just going to try to wipe it really good. I think that'll work because I'm going to use this for the red. So we're going to dry. I'm going to take the tape off. We're going to dry it. And that'll probably be dry by then. Right? Okay, so I'm going to take the tape off. Let me get my trash can closer because it's going to be easier that way. So we'll take the tape off and then we'll use our handy dandy dryer, and then we'll use another piece of tape, or we'll use more tape to maybe keep a couple to go down the side and do our red line on this side, guys, right? Don't let me forget, I need to do it on this side. It's looking cute already. Can you already see it? Can you already picture it in your mind? What's gonna happen? I'm toying with the idea of circles over here, like for the holes, but in the example that I'm following, they did not have it, and I think it looked great without it. So you'll have to let me know if you think I should put like the punches, like the holes that would be on the notebook page, or whether we can just not have to go to that extreme, because I'd have to use black, which I'm already going to use black for my letters, I've decided. Even though I'm not a big fan, I'm gonna, because I think that's what's gonna stand out best. Oh, look, you guys. Oh my gosh, just something that little just brings me joy. Isn't that hilarious? Just something that small. I took a piece of white wood and painted some blue lines on it, and it brings me joy because I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it come into life. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let's just dry it real quick, just a little bit, before we put our, we want to do the red line down the side. This is just my little air dryer. I've got it on high. I think you can hear me fine now. Isn't it cute? I don't think I'm gonna measure. I think I'm gonna eyeball for where I'm gonna put the red line on the side. So I'll talk to you while I'm doing this. I'll tell you what I decided instead of, I told you I love it with the hello. I love that idea, but it's so big. And I could do it like I was just jotting it on a piece of paper, right? But I want to make it a little more uniform, I think. So I'm going to use the welcome from here. And this is one of our newer transfers from this year, and it's called the Welcome Star Tile. So actually, this is an A-size transfer, so it's pretty small. It's only $9.99 for this size. And you can use it together like this if you wanted to make a little tiny welcome sign. Or you can, as you can see the line right here, that's a place where you can cut the transfer apart. I don't have to cut it apart. I can actually probably put it on here without cutting it apart. Okay. So now, even if the lines are not exactly straight or not exactly the same size, I don't think you're going to be able to tell once you get the whole project done. Sorry guys, I'm gonna hang that up. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, it's a brand new transfer, I haven't used it yet, so I'll definitely have to fuzz it. But what I'm gonna do is I'll show you how I just pull it up and kind of leave this on here and just use that part. So I'll just fuzz that part and all. But let's go ahead and do our red line. I'm gonna turn it for a minute so I can eyeball it. Let's see where we wanna do. Don't want to pull up. You know what, guys? I'm not gonna use this one. I don't want to pull up my paste that I just put down. So I think I'm gonna put a little tiny bit of wax over it, just because I'm worried with the tape that I'm gonna put down. With the transfer, it should be fine. I just don't want to pull up my chalk. It's dry, so it should be fine. Okay, and I'm going to use my placement tape where to put it, just to be sure. Oh, I got to open it. Never used this one. Oh, that was close. Did you see that? Do not use scissors in that way. That was not a very good idea. Well, I'm not sure if I'm teaching you things, how to do things. This is 5 yards of tape, by the way, in case you were wondering. I just read that on there. Hopefully I'm showing you how to do things, but if I'm not doing that, I'm at least showing you what not to do. It's okay. My job here is complete. I'm at least teaching something. Learn from my mistakes. Okay, so let's just put it like maybe here. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then we'll just do it on that side. Okay. Try to do it about the same, you know, a similar width. Better make sure I got it straight before I put it down. That would be helpful. That looks good. Because you want it to show up for sure, but there we go. That's why I say we're only doing this one project today, because I knew it was going to take a little longer. We have a few more steps involved that we wouldn't normally have. So I just taped off a little section. I think that'll be over far enough. Obviously that leaves all this pretty wide, but I think it'll be over far enough. What do you think? Does that look good, or should we move it over more? I think so. Basically, let's move it over just a tiny bit more. I definitely want the word welcome to stand out, but a little piece of wood came off of there. But I don't want it to be too far over that it looks off balance. So we'll move it over just a hair. Easy enough to do. So I'm curious what your favorite school supply is. If you like buying back to school supplies, what's your favorite? Like, even now, I mean, I am a pen junkie, probably. A pen junkie. Colorful pen junkie. I love it. I wish they had created gel pens when I was in school. They did not. But there we go. I think that's going to be a little better. Excuse me. But I'm definitely a pen junkie. But also, I don't know why I do that. I have no idea why I do that. Hey, we're going to take this off over here, and I've decided to get rid of my lid because it's messy. Now I'm messing with the red, and it's going to be, I'm going to try really hard not to get it everywhere because it's always messier. And I'm going to take it right out of here. And my brush is, I feel like my brush is clean. So I'm just going to take it full strength and dab my brush in and make sure my tape's sealed. And just go. Yes, so I said I am a pen junkie, but I also love like a brand new planner. Like feeling of having an empty planner. And then filling it in. And I still do this. It's funny because I have at times looked back and been able to go back and find something old. Usually when we're moving and I'm going through a box saying, oh, what's this? Does this need to go? Do I need to purge anything? And I'll look through a box and find something from way back when. And even then, the reason I tell you this is because I didn't realize it, but even then I did it, and I still do it now. I color coordinate things in my planners and in my notes. Like when I would take notes, I would take them in different colored pens. So obviously we had something, unless that was college. I can't even remember now. But when I took college classes, but I color coordinate. I try to do anything to give visual, make it more pleasing visually, I guess is what I'm trying to come up with. What I'm trying to say. And I still do that. Like all my kids have a certain color assigned to them in my planner. So that way when I go to look at it, my brain it helps my brain know. Obviously I'm just wiping this right now, but I will get it in water and make sure I rinse it really well. It's paste, so it's not gonna be like paint, but you still wanna take care of your brushes. My brain just works better. I can look at something. Oh yeah, okay, that's that. That's that one. All right, let's peel and reveal. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, I will say I do notice it pulled off just a little bit of blue because probably it wasn't dry all the way or I didn't wait long enough. But I think it'll be okay, and if it bothers me, I'll go back in and touch it up with my little teeny tiny squeegee after I get off camera. But does it look like a piece of paper? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love it. See, I don't know. I think that putting the holes might take away from it, how cute it is. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'll do it. I'll do whatever. Okay, so let's dry that just a tiny bit because I probably will be putting transfer over top of that. And I know this wood is, you know, kind of distressed and a little discolored in places, but I don't mind that. If I cared about it that much and I had the ability, I might, you know, cut my own piece of wood and make sure it's painted crisp white, but I like it this way. I'm just a little bit farmhouse. Not over the top, but there's lots of farmhousey things that I like in decor, so I don't mind it. It's another scorcher here today, you guys. Just going outside before taking him and getting him loaded up into the car. It says 91 on my temperature. But just doing that. It was awful. Okay, so I thought about it and decided that the transfers we're going to use on our piece of paper are, like I said, we're going to use the welcome part of this. And so I'll probably put that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I figured. So maybe around here, right? Put the welcome. Yeah, I think there, because I want it on the line, I think. And then I've also decided, I kept them over here on my little fuzzing mat because I know I was going to use them. We're going to use our little friend the owl. And I think I'm going to just put him maybe here at the top. I think he'll be cute. And then I'm also going to use, because I just love this, the way it looks, I'm going to use our A+. Can you see it? A+. And I may put the owl on one side and the A+ on the other, almost kind of like you were grading your paper. And then the other one I'm going to use that I have not done a project with yet, but I have on tap for tomorrow, is this little guy. Isn't he cute? Back to school. We'll probably only use 2 colors. I don't think I'm going to, as of right this minute, I don't think I'm going to use more than 2 colors on this transfer, but I have to do the apple and red And then I'll do the books in another color. Whether or not it'll be multiple colors is to be determined. But I figured I would put that maybe down here in the corner because it's almost like welcome back to school, right? Or I could put it straight on, welcome back to school. And then put those guys in the top. So that's what I'm thinking. So I think we should probably start with the welcome, since that is going to like be the main focus. So I'm just gonna bring my fuzzing cloth over. And like I said, I'm just gonna use the welcome part. So I am going to leave the rest on my backer sheet. I'm just gonna pull that part off of the backer sheet. Okay guys, I gotta have them on. Can't see well. A lot of times I can just make do and it's fine, but. And this is gonna be the longest part. Okay, here we go. Getting it off of the backer sheet sometimes. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave the rest of it on there and I'm just gonna fuzz. Now I wanna fuzz well because I'm putting it on this wood. I don't wanna pull my paste up. And I want my transfer to come off. And again, remember, our silk screen transfers are made exclusively by our company. And we're just gonna get the paste in here, but the rest of it is like a fabric and it's very sticky, and that's so that it will obviously stay in place. So depending on what surface you're putting it on, you need to fuzz it. Put some, basically, just like I said, fuzz on it. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does that work, guys? I'll put it right about there. And even the fabric part of the transfer, guys, is clear. It's not clear, obviously, but it's I can see kind of through it. Like I can see that blue line under there to give me a general idea of how I'm lining it up. So I'm just going to push really well around my silk screen area and make sure it's down, adhered to the board really well so that it does not. Okay, we're gonna get the black out of the way right off the bat. The messy black. And I just used this, was it yesterday? So I don't think I need to stir it. Or the day before, whatever. But yeah, I'm just gonna press that area down to make sure it's on there good so that it does not seep. Stays where I want it. And I'm gonna use my multi-purpose tool since this is such a small area. I'm gonna pull it right from the jar, guys. I don't need to put it on anything else. I put it right in the jar and then put it right back, whatever extra I don't use. Okay? I'm just gonna apply it right on there. And I'm just kind of smearing it across. It's just wet chalk this time. I am so happy. I have looked for, as soon as I saw this idea, I have been looking forward to doing this project. So I'm just wiping it across the silkscreen area, making sure I have all of it filled in. And I go both directions just to make sure. And then I come back across it and make sure I'm pulling off any extra and making sure I don't have any lines. And then I'm just gonna put that right back in there. I'm probably gonna reuse this guy, so I'm gonna wash him. I only have one of my multi-purpose tool. And that paste should last you a really long time depending on how much you use of a certain color, but it really doesn't take very much for a project. And I'm gonna wipe this on here first because black is so messy. Oh goodness, let's hope I didn't just make a mess. There, nope. Now the black will also stain the transfer, any of the blacks and reds and pigment colors. If I sound like a broken record, if you watch me often, you'll hear me, I sound like a broken record. But it does not hurt your transfer. As long as you clean it well and you clean the silkscreen area, that's the part that is, that you're worried about. That's the part you want to worry about. The rest of it, even if it's stained, it still will work fine. 8 to 12 uses or more. All right. And I'm just pulling it off slowly to make sure I got it all covered, and I did. I love it. Look at it, guys. Oh, yes. Okay, I'm already seeing that fabric tied to the top. I'm going to have to do like little bows. I'll probably do like rag bows almost. Not bows, just, oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy I made this. Okay, sorry. I'm having a moment. Okay, so I'm not going to get to the sink right now and clean this, but I would clean it in the sink with cold water, wet water. Boy, I'm on it today, aren't I? So anyway, I'm going to place this down on my mat that I've shown before. That's just like an old $1 dish drying mat, and I'm just going to spray some water on it until I can get it to the sink to clean it. Okay, just keep it moist. I love it. I mean, that alone just screams, right? Oh gosh, I love when something turns out right. Okay, so what do we think? Do we want to do our back to school by itself, or do we want it over? Do we want it under it? Do we want it over? I can't decide. Let's go ahead and do our other guys. Let's do our A+. Let's give an A+. We're going to put the A+ over here on this side, because this is fabulous. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to place that wherever. And I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use, all right, so I pulled colors. So I wanted to use primary colors. When you grade a paper, you have to grade it in red, right? So I think I'm going to use red for this, even though I don't know if I would, if I was a teacher, if I would use red. Red is for the mistakes, right? So, do we want to do red? Now I'm going to do red on the apple. Maybe I don't want to do too much red, because red is like you've made a mistake, right? Yeah, let's not use red. Let's not use red. Bringing back negative. How about we use green? I got this meadow green I shared yesterday. Obviously, I need to buy this because I am loving it, and I love all colors of green. Green and purple are two of my favorite colors. I don't know if I've met a color I don't like besides black. But black and white are absent. Well, white's an absence of color, right? Black, I don't know. But let's do green. Just want to make sure she's down. I think it'll be pretty in green. We have so many shades of green. This one is meadow, and I have pesto up there, and I have shimmer spruce, and I have pistachio, and I have sage. But I think this is probably, I don't know that this is the truest to like a Kelly green, which is what I think of when I think of a primary color green. My high school color was, school colors were Kelly green and white. So this is close, you know, it's not really, I mean, almost like an emerald green, I guess. This isn't quite there, but it's close. It'll do. It will do. It really isn't taking that much, it's just the way I got it on this little, my little multi-purpose tool. Doesn't pick up a ton. Now, the, sorry, just had a thought and I'm trying to decide if I should, I'll remind you at the end too. But since this is going to go on my front door, even though I have a covered front porch, or if you were going to put it in your classroom, you wouldn't need to. I have a covered front porch, so I probably would not. Now, I may use this on the books as well. So, sorry, I'm getting a message. I'll leave it, the green out, just in case, but I'm sure I'm going to use this tool again, so. See what I mean about the red? Oh, it's just everywhere. It's everywhere. Not even using it, I'm getting it everywhere. Oh my goodness, look at me. Sorry. Look at me. Oh my gosh. I'm a mess. It's just chalk, but I don't want to get it all over my board. I may have to get another wipe out. I've been using that one to clean my squeegee. I should have just used the paper towel. I need one for my hands. There we go. That's better. I don't want to get red all over my board. Get it all? I think so. All right, I'm gonna set that one aside and not grab that anymore. Okay, so let's get this guy off. But you're gonna wanna use like a sealer. This is what I have. And let me tell you, they are not joking when they tell you use a screwdriver to get the lid off, because I tried everything else under the sun and then finally said, oh, let me go downstairs and get a screwdriver. And I got it off. So they're not joking when they say that. But this is what I'm gonna use on it to protect it for out on the front porch and just seal it. We have so much humidity. I don't get rain up under there unless it's a hurricane, and then I would bring it in, but we get so much humidity that I just want to make sure my stuff stays protected, and there we go. Doesn't that look great? And the red would have looked fantastic too. I just decided, let's do something a little different. Let's go with green. Okay, now let's get our little owl friend. Okay, so I could either put your owl friend here. Let's look at it. I could put, all right, don't get on there. Our owl friend here. Where are you? There you are. Come back. Here, or I could act like he was a little doodle in the margin that I was doodling while I was supposed to be taking notes. That would certainly balance that guy off. And then I could put the back to school right in the middle. What do you guys think? Let's do that. He's doodle. He's a doodle. We're gonna doodle. All right, now I'm back to my problem. What color should I do him? Oh, I wanna make sure he's fuzzed a little more. He was on my fuzzing cloth, but I wanna make sure I have him fuzzed more. So, sorry, I know I don't have that in screen, but you're getting the idea. All right, so we could just put him like I was doodling. I wish I was that good a drawer, artist, that good at drawing. Let's see. How do you think? Yeah? Is that good? We can line him up straight. Just pressing him in. Okay, so what color, now I do have a blue line behind him, so I have to keep that in mind that that's gonna show up, but it would anyway if I was drawing a picture of him, right? So, some of the other colors that I pulled, obviously, I pulled a yellow, and I pulled an orange, and I have the green. So we're gonna do red on that apple. What do you think, guys? Should we do orange or yellow? Should we do yellow? What do we have a lot of in here? Let's look at this, because this is going to end up somewhere, probably up here at the top. What do you think? Yellow or orange? I think either one of them would look great. All right. How about we do the little pencil in yellow? I knew I'd have to do it. And the owl in orange. Okay? We're not going to do the owl in brown. I know typically an owl would be brown. And I have some cute shimmers that would work. I don't have a regular brown, but I have cute shimmers that would work. Let's do that. All right, now what I am also, no, I'm not going to, because I don't want to dry it out. I was gonna do them both at the same time, but I'm not. Okay, I need my little teeny tiny multi-purpose tool for this guy, because that's the tiniest squeegee I have besides that little fine point tool. Let's do our pencil in yellow. You see? I'm trying to make sure you can see, guys. Sorry, I know I'm kind of in front. Pencil in yellow. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm probably going to do some colors on the books. Can't help myself. Okay. Look, I barely needed any of that. I just wanted to make sure I had him covered. I'm gonna leave that open. Let's find this spot here. And I meant to look and I forgot, guys. Oh, I don't want to use that. Oh, shoot. That's okay, because I'll probably use it for the books. I need a bigger one for that. I can use my multi-purpose tool for this one because he's a little bit bigger area. That'll get it done faster. Meant to look last night to see what color owls. Oh, and I don't know if you spot behind me right directly over my shoulder. There's another little project that I did not share with you on camera yet. I did video it. But I decided to do one more last night. Or yesterday afternoon before I left to go to run to Michael's. All right. I gotta stop saying the names of the stores. I don't think I'm supposed to do that. I don't know if Facebook likes that. All right, let's see if I can get their little feet. See if I can get his little feet. All right, he's done. I'm a good doodler. Look how cute. I don't even know if you can see the pencil. It's not bold or anything, but I love it. See him? Isn't he cute? I like him. Okay, so what do we decide? Back to school is going to go, we're going to line that up. Let's see if I want him close. This is brand new. I haven't used this one yet. I have a cute little project for that tomorrow. I think you're going to like that too. I know I have not done very many of these projects with our, I guess I should do each one of them just to show you. I haven't done very many of them with our, since I haven't used this yet at all, I'm definitely making sure I'm fuzzing it. And these are our back to school minis. Remember, it comes in that, all of these that you see, all these little guys, it comes in a big page of 12 individual little squares. But I know I haven't done them on many of our surfaces, but there's just so many other cute options right now. You could absolutely do all these on all of our surfaces, so don't think you have to go hunting. A lot of people don't enjoy shopping at all or shopping for these types of things or on the hunt or whatever. So if you need it easy, I can help you make it easy too. I can make it so easy that all you have to do is click one link and get everything you need in a cart to decide on. All right, guys, so what are we doing? Are we putting it here? I'm gonna put it down and then see what you think. Do we put it here? Or do I put it down in the corner? What do you think? Let's see. I'm like an angle person, but I don't want to, and you know, I may even decide it's unbalanced and I need to add something over here. The only thing I thought about also adding was this little apple, but I was thinking, oh, there's an apple on the books though. I mean, I suppose I could do that and just do the books and not put the apple on the books. because then it would be 5 elements. I don't know. Anyway, or I did think also about using this. I told you I have another idea for this, but I don't know. Okay, let's see. Gonna make an executive decision here. You guys aren't helping me out. So I'm gonna have to make an executive decision. Let's see. I think it will look more balanced if I find the middle part of welcome. If I do it straight on. Up higher. Let's see if that's about right. I think. I need to get my books on the line. Bear with me. Trying to line it up on my little lines, my notebook paper lines. Okay. All right, we're gonna do it. Let's go. And I'm not gonna use black. I'm going to use all these different colors. I'm going to use red, tie it all together. So let's see, what am I going to do? Am I going to do anything in orange? I'm almost afraid to use, I think I'm going to have to use this little tiny tool for all of them because I'm not sure I trust myself. Definitely doing red for the apple. And then yellow, orange, and green. Let's do them all. Okay, let's just use this tool. I think that one I'm just gonna wash. Oh, I didn't get it all off. Okay, I got to talking to myself. I forgot you guys were even there. Just kidding. Okay, red, orange, green. Let's do green for the middle and yellow for school, or let's do yellow for the middle. I don't know. We're gonna do yellow for something. Nope, we're gonna do back and yellow. Whoops, I need to get more on the end. I'm saving the red because I know it's going to be messy. That's why I thought I'd do these first. I think I'm going to put it on a little thicker since I'm doing all these little spots in different colors, and I want to make sure that the paste, the thinner you put it on, the quicker obviously it's going to dry. And I don't want it to dry fast. At least until I get it, at least until I take the transfer off. Again, if you're watching this, I'd love it if you would give it a heart and sprinkle it to anyone that you think would be interested in seeing it. If you're watching this not live and it's on a replay, if you would put hashtag replay or replay in the comments. Love to know where you're watching from. 2. Trying to pull off some of the extra because I don't want it to. Could have done the red and done the paste and pull. I'll do that. I'll do the red next. Get it out of the way. Get it out of the way. I did a green apple yesterday if you watched. Does your family like green apples or red apples? or no apples. I'm not a huge apple itself as the fruit fan. I like apple flavored things, but I'm not a huge apple as a fruit by itself fan. There we go. I think she's covered. Two of my daughter and my grandson like the red apples, like Honeycrisp especially, those kind. And I think my one son, I don't think he likes apples. My husband will eat any kind of apple, if he actually eats one. And my youngest son, I believe he likes. So I'm just pasting and pulling. Basically, I'm just pulling it back so that the paste doesn't dry to the stick to the transfer. Stays on my surface. I'm gonna lay it down gently and just make sure my next word is filled in. I do have to say the yellow's not showing up great. It's hard to kind of see because just like it was over here, but it's gonna be all right. We're gonna get the idea. Let's do green on the bottom. Furthest away from the, I don't know, I could have probably done that one in a bigger squeegee. I feel like I have to be as careful. I think my youngest son prefers the green, like a golden delicious. It is so quiet here. I say that and the dog will probably start barking. I think UPS is supposed to be bringing something today, so that always gets him a little upset. I took him with me today to take the little guy to school because I didn't want to leave him I didn't want to put him in the crate. We only put him in there when we're going out of the house. He was trained in that when he was little, but he's a big boy now, 15 months old, so he doesn't need all that. But when we go out of the house, I still don't trust him, so I didn't want to make him have to go in there, so I took him with me. And he loves to go. He loves to go. He loves to go on a car ride. He loves to go bye-byes. He's very good about his leash. He doesn't try to run off. He actually holds his own leash. He's a golden. He just, for whatever reason, he's decided that he needs to. I think my husband encouraged that when he takes him for walks. Gives him his leash right when he's at the edge of our yard and he runs up. So now he thinks he's supposed to hold his own leash. But it was hard on him because the car that I drove today doesn't have the air all the way in the back. So I had the windows open so he could get fresh air on him, and I had the air going full blast because it's a scorcher again. But okay, I just had an idea because I feel like that yellow didn't show up that well. Remember how I told you that? What if I add a little orange to it? What if I did that? That would be okay. And it was just so hot on him, even with all that. So I felt bad for him when we got home. I don't think I'm going to take him with me when I go to pick the little guy up. He'll be all right in the crate. It's not that long. My husband might even get back here before I get back with the little guy. So, all right, let's see. Yay! Yay! Oh, I had a little fuzz piece, guys, under my school part, so it kind of smudged my L. I'll have to fix that when it dries. There we go. That's cute. Very cute. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm so happy we did this project. I love it. So I'm going to take some of this. Let's set this here and let it dry a little bit. Once it's dry, I'm going to clean up the little boo-boo. Just try to check your, that's just another example of, you know, another thing that you might want to do is when you go to put your transfer down, just make sure, I mean, you want the fuzz on the sticky part, but you don't want it to cover up any of the silk screen area, which sometimes it does. That particular time it did, I was careless, so I didn't double check that. But that's the only reason why. But I should be able to fix that. Because I waxed the board and once it dries, I should be able to get that kind of scraped off. So what I'm thinking, in case you were wondering what I was talking about, what I'm thinking I'm going to do, since I do not seem to have any luck finding, and I don't even know if I'm going to keep looking for ribbon. I've looked as much as I'm going to look here, and I don't even know if it's worth it to try to get it. Because this can be just as cute. We figured out a workaround for hanging our one sign, right? We figured that out. Where is it? There it is. So with the pipe cleaners, that works just fine. And it's kind of cute. It ties into the erasers. So I like that. I'm not going to worry about it. So I think we're just going to use some of this fabric. I love the colors. They're nice and bright. And I love that color blue. I love it. And the purple in there. So let's save that. You never know. I am bad about that. I will save that because you never know what you might need that for. Do you do that too? I think that's a crafter thing. Oh, I need that piece. I need to set that aside. I might have a need for that at some point. If I wanted to, I could obviously find a couple of these cute guys and hot glue them on as well. You never know. We'll see. We'll see if I feel inspired. They have some really cute ones in there. There's a unicorn, sunshine, panda, koala. Oh, it's a little cloud with a smile. A piece of pizza with a face. Oh my gosh, they're adorable. There's something else in there. A rainbow, I think. What's that one? I can't tell what that one is. Can't tell what that one is. Oh, French fries with a face. Oh my gosh, they're adorable. So anyway, I don't know. You may find those. I mean, we'll see. But this is what we'll do. We'll go ahead and do this, and then I'll wrap up. So again, as I mentioned, you probably want to spray this after it's completely dry. Let it dry. And then you want to spray it before you put it outside. So let's, I don't know if you've done this before or not. I actually, down in my dining room, or not my dining room, my breakfast nook, these are not my fabric scissors, but we're going to go with it. In my breakfast nook area, I have what they call gypsy curtains. So all of my house has, so I just cut that little tiny bit and I'm just going to rip it because I like that look. But this is what we did to make them. We just took pieces. We did have some yarn and cut really long pieces. If you're not sure what that is, look it up. I actually probably in my and pictures on my Instagram, my home decor page at the Blue White House and Instagram. You probably see them. My breakfast nook area, we have gypsy curtains. And what that is you just take something, fabric of some kind. And we did this. We, found different fabric in the color scheme that we wanted. That I wanted. Let's say my daughter helped me with the project. I picked out most of it. I'm sure she helped me some. It's been several years ago that we did this. But ribbon, fabric, and just do this kind of thing. Okay. I'm just going to tuck that aside because you never know what else I might need it for. I think that'll be enough for our purposes right now. And I'm probably going to cut that in half. But you take that and you just take so all my house has the blinds in it, the wood blinds. So, and my last house did too. So you just take a tension rod that fits the length of whatever your opening of your window is. And then you tie your ribbon or your fabric or whatever, and you make it into a curtain. As thick or as thin or, however much you want to add to it. And it's just a cool look. It gives you something over top of your especially if it's obviously informal, which your breakfast nook usually is. I'm sure there's some people that have a fancier one. I never have, but that's just me. Yeah, so, oh, strings. So this is just a way to make your own ribbon. I didn't know I was going to be showing you about that, but hey, maybe this is what I was supposed to do. Okay, what you can do is, you know, you've already got your twine on there, so that's fine. You can leave that, but that doesn't mean you can't make it cuter. Dress it up a little bit. So just take it, cut it, rip it in half like I just did. Make sure your pieces are showing, your sides are showing. And then just, you can make it as short or as long. You don't even have to dovetail like you would with a nice ribbon. You could make this into a bow if you would rather have a bow, but this is just kind of a little whimsical, fun way to have some added interest to the top. So I'm just going to do two of them. Two of them, I think. I could wrap it around more. I might do it that way, just to make it not as long. And make sure that see, I always have to think about that when I'm making a bow, so that the print shows out. You want it to show out. There. Actually, I'm gonna fix this one. I like how I did that one better. Slide it down. Make sure you can see it. I think once you go to hang it, it'll be a lot easier to see. But that's how you make a gypsy curtain, as I was mentioning. So you take a tension rod and you would tie like just the end. Like if I had this really long piece, and obviously that's not long enough, but I could tie something else to the end of it, or I can have a really long piece of ribbon and tie it to it and then just let it stream down, almost like streamers on a tension rod. And then you just kind of work it up in there behind the little top cover of your wood blinds, and voila, you have a little fun window covering. Okay, think. Okay, there we go. Fun? Isn't that cute? All right, guys, that is it for our project today. I've kept you long enough. I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I would love if you would hit the heart button, especially if you love this project, and sprinkle it to anyone that you know would be interested in seeing it. And also, let me know in comments if you think it needs anything more. Like, do I need to glue a couple of these cuties on there too, on the bare spaces, or just let it be? I'd love to have your opinion. Let me know, and then you'll find out when I go to post the picture whether or not I took your advice. Thanks so much for joining me. If you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to message me directly, or send a comment and I'll message you. Be glad to. You never know, your question may be the same one that someone else has that you know, that would be helpful. Like I've always believed, and a lot of teachers say, good teachers I think anyway, there's no such thing as a dumb question. So you never know if it might help someone else. So if you have one, just ask. I'll be glad to answer it for you. That's what I'm here for. I appreciate you attending this class, and I hope you like this project. And join me tomorrow. The plan is we're going to finish up with a couple more little projects. We're going to do several of them. It won't take very long. And wrap up our back to school week with the last couple projects. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.